with the Dragon Tattoo stars Rooney Mara, Christopher Plummer, and Daniel Craig. It's based on a very popular book trilogy by Swedish author Stieg Larsson. I guess I should start by saying that I haven't seen the Swedish version of this story. I have read the book. I can't compare it to the Swedish version in any way, so for me, this was my first time seeing all of these characters and places being brought to life. It's directed by David Fincher, who found a lot of success last year, critically, with his movie The Social Network, which featured Rooney Mara. Fincher also teamed up again with composing partners Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor. So I guess I'll start off by talking about the score to this film. It was very interesting. It was quite subtle and had that quality that the score for The Social Network had. I personally am more of a fan of movie soundtracks that are very big and epic, but I really appreciated the subtlety of this score. And the reason I like the score so much is because it tied in with some of the things in the story in a very interesting way. For example, there's a lot of sounds and instruments and things meant to give you a kind of digital feel. It's not that the score sounds like trance music, but it just sounds very digital. This ties in really nicely with the fact that the main character, Elizabeth Salander, does a lot of her work by means of computers. You could say she's very good with computers. So the most important thing to me going into it as a book reader was seeing the character of Lisbeth brought to life. I had a lot of anticipation about this part of it, and all I can say is, wow, I was so happy with the way she turned out. When I started to see the trailers and clips from the movie, I was already getting really excited, but it's not until you see her in action in the full-length film that you really get a feel for the fact that she really grasped this character. Her acting is really awesome. She is not messing around. Daniel Craig, who plays Mikkel, I really liked. He had the likability. Look and general atmosphere of the movie was another element it really excelled at. Fincher really captured the tone of the book successfully. Made a movie that looks really cool. I've heard a lot of people use the word cool to describe this movie, because it really is. It kind of is one of the best words you could use to describe it, in my opinion, as well. David Fincher used some really interesting shots that I was a big fan of, and some of them I even noticed in the trailers. There's one shot in particular that for some reason I'm like obsessed with. I just think it looks so cool. It's a shot of Lisbeth kind of just sitting there like cross-legged, just sitting on the floor, and the camera comes up and like over her head, and like she's like upside down, and then it comes up around her. If you've seen it, you'll know what I'm talking about. I think it's even in at least one of the trailers, and I just think it's such a cool shot. Fincher is inventive, and you can really tell he's got his own style. If you appreciate sophisticated looking movies, you'll appreciate this one. Positive things said, I feel like I should say, just based on my personal experience watching the film, I saw in just a regular audience, relatively crowded audience, and I just have to I feel like I just have to put a disclaimer out there that really not like this film if you have a problem with strong graphic scenes with violence, particularly sexual violence. There's a scene that's very graphic, and I kind of knew it was coming, and it is quite graphic, and the acting in it is so superb that it really does take it to that raw level, and it does become very visceral. Two adults kind of in front of me, a couple, that left during that scene and didn't come back. And I've rarely been in movies where, like quality movies, where people walk out. So it was too intense for those two, and I don't know if they just, it was just more than they expected, or if they had no idea that certain graphic scenes of that caliber were going to be in it. Obviously, you know, there's the rating system, and it is rated R, of course, but I feel like I can't review it without saying that that did happen in the theater I was in. So if you have an issue with that, and you're disturbed by dark imagery such as that, there are a couple scenes like that in the movie. Scenes of that nature, in my opinion, are few and far between in the movie, and it's really a murder mystery. You actually have a couple different stories going on that kind of all come together at a certain point, and mysteries being solved. So if you want a movie with an intense ride that's very adult and has a great visual style, amazing characters, and pretty much one of the most badass female characters I've ever seen in a movie, then you will love this movie. It's extremely well done. It's on a very high level of filmmaking, in my opinion. So The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, I'm giving a 9 out of 10. So Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, have you seen it yet? Do you want to see it? Have you read any of the books? If you like this review and you would like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I will have more reviews coming throughout the week as I see movies, and I'm probably going to go back and review some movies that I've seen over the past couple weeks. Oh, that's just a giant medicine ball, don't mind me.